History of culture, keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. They hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
A pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome to Over to You, a program for the people, by the people. This evening, we're going to be rocking and rolling for 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen, 1 hour. So we have to stuff everything into this hour. So please push your comments early if there's anything for me to address. Okay, remember, Over to You, a program for the people, by the people. I'll give you guys the latitude of about a minute and a half to share the program, share and like your program. This is a program for the people, by the people of Guyana. Okay, thank you. Well, today's a pretty cool day in the Northeast region of the United States of America. I see my Canadian friends are already on the broadcast, and if it is cold in the United States of America, it is colder or cooler in Canada. So I welcome you guys. I'm sure you guys are watching the program from under your sheets. Okay, for those on the ground in Guyana, on the broader Caribbean, I thank you guys for allowing this program into your household. Okay, thank you so very much for allowing this program into your households. This is a program that your children can freely watch. There's going to be no indecent language on this broadcast. All right. So while you guys share the link and like your program, this is your investment. I will just go ahead and do the roll call for today. Normal trend, right? All right. Yvonne Rodriguez, a pleasant good evening to you. Yvonne from Barbados. Yes, Barbados in the house. Paula Mattis Peters, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. Sharon Griffith, a pleasant good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. My brother, Jason McDonald, welcome to the broadcast, sir. Puran Ramdas, welcome. Paulette, welcome. Mary Figueroa, my first Canadian in the house. Welcome, Mary. Patricia Graves-Andy, welcome to the broadcast. Aileen Norton, welcome. Good to see you, Aileen. Miss Desiree Smart Felix, another Canadian, welcome to the broadcast. Miss Pam Halls, good to see you, Miss Halls. Sandra Sargent, welcome. Michelle Semple, welcome to the broadcast. Miss Denise Booker, the Freedom Fighter, welcome to this broadcast. Jacqueline Johnson, welcome to the broadcast. Brother Jamal Aziz. Brother Jamal Aziz is the owner of a butcher shop. Well, that's cows, but meat prices are skyrocketing in Guyana. If you're in the quarantine area, please visit Brother Jamal Aziz for your pepper pot meat, amongst other things. Visit his butcher shop. Welcome, Brother Jamal Aziz. Sandra Hanover, welcome to the broadcast. Shelly DeRidder, welcome. Rhonda Tuesday, welcome to the broadcast. Aubrey Williams, welcome. Miss Deslyn Wilson, welcome to today's broadcast. Jennifer, welcome. Karen Clark, welcome to today's broadcast. If I miss your name, I'm very sorry. Allison Sam, welcome. Miss Vashti Megnot, welcome to the broadcast. Myrna Saul, welcome. Patricia Wren, welcome. Anjali Abrams, Miss Lachman Aziz, also the owner of that butcher shop. Welcome to the broadcast. The Honorable Mr. Basil Bracha, former Guyana national athlete and broadcaster, welcome to the broadcast. Audrey Brown, welcome. Shondell Griffith, good to see you, my sister. Welcome to the broadcast. Miss Ingrid Carter, welcome. The Honorable Miss Charlene A. Moses, it's great to see you. Welcome to today's broadcast. I know you always have a lot of contributions. I look forward to hearing what you have to say today. Precious Queen, welcome to the broadcast. Floretta Hamilton, it's good to see you always. Barbara Boyce, welcome, or Barbara Boyce, welcome to the broadcast. Alexis Williams, welcome to the broadcast. Miss Corinne Dornick, it's good to see you. Miss Erwil Dawn Cook, it's a pleasure seeing you. Claire Chappell, good to see you. Edward Gonzalez, good to see you. Marianne Hamilton Nestor, it's a pleasure seeing you. Michelle Justice, good to see you. Good to see you, everyone. Linda Dainty, Paulette Hawk Kippins, Thomasino Ben, Norville Berkshire, good to see all of you guys. Maggie, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, Patricia, Sana, Robin, Aline, Barnwell, good to see you. Welcome, everyone, to today's broadcast. What are we looking at, ladies and gentlemen? What are we looking at? When we look at the ground, when we look on the ground in Guyana, what do we hear, ladies and gentlemen? We hear the PPP talking of progress and development. Okay, that's what we hear. All right. What does the PPP say about APNU? Oh, APNU does not like to see development. APNU does not like to see progress. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can have development. You can have progress. But is the development occurring the right way? Is the progress happening the correct way? Is it development for all? Is it progress for all? Let's ask ourselves these questions right here this evening, okay? Based on what we can see, okay? Is there development for all in Guyana? All right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if there is development for all in Guyana, we would not have 53% of Guyanese living below the poverty line, right? That is simply put. We are talking about development, okay? What is development? The Demerara Bridge, the Lyndon Mackenzie Bridge, that is, technically, that is development, right? That is development. But some of us, we get amnesia. These are not PPP projects. These are APNU projects that are being done by the PPP. All right? Again, these are APNU projects that are being done by the PPP. Okay? And these same projects that we are talking about is projects that allows government the latitude of corruption if you are a bad government. And when you want to talk about bad government, please put the smiling face of all the PPP ministers right next to that bad government. All right? Now, let's dig in here a bit. I believe a few weeks ago I would have called for tolls on some of the bridges because, listen, these guys think that they are going to trick Guyanese. All right? If the international community or anything come to them and ask them any questions, they can say, but look, we give them free. The crossings, all the crossings in Guyana is free. All right? I was saying merely to charge people 25% of what you was charging them before. So if you was paying $100 to go over the Demerara Bridge, it would be $25 for a car. A minibus will be slightly a bit more, right? Because that's bringing passengers and that's their job. They will have to pay a little more. They are going to be traversing the bridge all day back and forth. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's dig in here because we would have discussed a cash distribution for the people of Guyana, okay, just before the upcoming Christmas holiday. which should be plausible. Okay? When you have a $1.382 trillion budget, that should be more than plausible, right? 1.382. That's the budget that I would have looked at and just recommended that $182 billion be allocated just to the human capital of Guyana. And I think I've broken that down for you guys a few weeks back, where I would have asked for $110 billion to be allocated just for two cash distributions to the Guyanese people, which will be a total aggregate of $200,000. That is me being nice. When you ask Wayne, well, what does the PPP have for themselves to go ahead and do all the other things that they have to do? Well, they have $1.2 trillion. The PPP has $1.2 trillion. I hope y'all hearing me. And I hope that the predominantly Indian supporters of the PPP is hearing me clearly. $1.2 trillion. The PPP has to do everything else that they need to do. $110 billion for the two cash distributions. 70 billion. Is it 70 billion or 60 billion? Hold on, give me 1 second. 60 billion. 60 billion goes towards a raise in old age pension, moving the pension from that mere 41,000 a month, or whatever it is, 41 to 43,000 a month, okay, to 70,000. And I'm being moderate, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be honest with you guys. I believe that the starting point for old age pension can be $110,000 a month. But I know what I'm dealing with when it comes to the PPP. And here I'm trying to give them an opportunity to be able to do something for the Guyanese people. Stop being transactional and start being a bit more people-centered. You have people in your country. You have people in your country. Now the idiotic president is going to come at the Main Street light up, Christmas light up, whatever they had out there. Because here, if you ask me about those things, I don't want to hear anything but no Main Street light up and all that nonsense when 53% of Guyanese are living below the poverty line. Why am I lighting up Main Street for what? It's not going to make those 53% of Guyanese happy. They may not even have pepper pot on their table come Christmas morning. All right. The install dunce president, yes, he's dunce. He is dunce. Okay? He is dunce. Would have said that the cash grant, there's what they just call it, grant. You guys ain't granting the Guyanese people nothing. You are basically giving them a cut of their revenue that is coming in from all the natural resources. And it should be more than that. We get locked in on this $100,000 thing. Even myself. It should be more than that. But hear what he's going to say, and I quote him. The cash grant is still alive. Really? Irfaan Ali, are you killing me? Are you really kidding me? Are you trying to tell me that the Guyanese people must get down on their knees and beg you? I have said this, ladies and gentlemen, before, that this is exactly what the PPP wants. You guys must treat them like gods. Well, for sure, y'all know that they're not gods, right? The other one is not feeling well. Okay? And guys, don't buy that thing that he's low and all of that. He's not as low as people might be thinking he is. He's ill. And it's not new news. Barry Jagdeo know the things that he would have been doing in the past. He knows what he gets into. So it's obvious. When you get into certain things, you take the risk of getting sick. What I'm going to say here, I'm not praying anything on anybody. But when those mothers were busy crying over those caskets and coffins back in the early 90s, after 1992, coming right up through the 2000s there, nobody cared. Nobody cared. But when you see a mother go over a coffin or casket and cry over her child that was killed extrajudicially by a government, then that leader has to face the repercussions. You heard me? That leader has to face the repercussions. Because it is him or her who is in charge. Karma is something else. Mind you, we all have a shelf life. There's going to be one day that yours truly, Mr. Caesar, will have to say bye-bye to this world. Okay? It's going to happen for everyone. But here what is my thing. Here what's the big thing here. While you are here, why don't you do the right thing and treat people with dignity and respect? Why don't you do the right thing and treat people with dignity and respect? And Guyanese, when are you guys going to learn? And I'm not talking about you guys on this broadcast. You guys are intelligent. You understand what is happening clearly. I am talking to those who this broadcast may be shared to or who may run into this broadcast somewhere. You guys don't work for Barry Jagdeo and the PPP. The PPP and Barry Jagdeo is supposed to be working for you. They were hired by you to manage your business. Guyana is the business of the Guyanese people. It is upon the government to be compliant and to be transparent with the people of Guyana. Allah Charles Ramson Sr., Minister in charge of information. Sir, you in a God? When the Guyanese people request information from you, it is your business for you and your ministry to get that information to them. No, Dr. Terence Campbell and the APNU would have asked a question. They want to know the balance in the Natural Resource Fund. What is taking you guys so long? Ladies and gentlemen, I would have came on Mark Benchcop show and I said I take back what I said last week. Because my study, I forgot one thing in my study, and that was the Guyana Elections Commission. I forget that that body was not an independent body. And just due to the fact that that body is not independent, it makes the PPP a full-blown dictatorship. So for the United States of America and all these large economies who is dealing with Guyana and who want to quote that they don't deal with dictators, they need to go back and do some homework. They need to go back and do some homework. Because one thing that they must understand, and one thing that everybody must understand, is that people are not stupid. And in one of my upcoming programs, we're going to come here and we are going to discuss the contributions of African people to this world and how many inventions they would have been responsible for. Stop disrespecting people. All of you, stop disrespecting people. Okay? If y'all children play a video game, then y'all in love with an African invention. If y'all see peanut butter, then y'all in love with an African person and their invention. Stop it. You watch anything in 3D, You're in love with an African, and I could go on and on the television. The fact that the light bulb could stay on, I can go all and on all evening. So we need to stop. We need to stop, and we need to understand that people are not stupid. We need to stop, and we need to understand that people are educated. Okay? So when you guys say that you don't deal with dictatorship, that is fibs. That is absolute nonsense. You deal with dictatorships when it is convenient to you. Your company is getting 900,000 barrels of oil every day from Guyana. Matthew Dennison, thank you for reminding me of the GPS. Yes, every time you jump in your car, you want to get from point A to point B to point C to point Z, and you got to punch it in your Google Maps on your phone or the GPS of your car. You're using the invention of an African. So stop it. Stop it. Don't act like if these people just come and lay down point on y'all. In the United States of America, they talk about welfare and they create a stigma like if it's Africans that are on welfare. Go and check the actual statistics. It is absolutely not Africans are the ones who are dominating the welfare system. So don't let them project these nonsense because they got the big news stations that can come and bring this out. The APNU has a planned protest on Monday. And I think this protest has to do with the cash distribution. And I applaud them. I applaud them because what they have essentially done is get in line with the Guyanese people. That is what they would have done. Get in line with the Guyanese people. Thank you, Theodore. That is facts right there. Thank you. I'm not going to call out their names live, but you guys can look at Theodore comment. Stop casting blame on Africans. The APNU also has to understand that in Haiti, the Africans in Haiti is facing some real tragic conditions. And you guys need to start looking in as to how you guys can help and how you guys can push government in Guyana to help. Remember, you guys are a part of the government. You cannot just sit there and allow people to bring in Bangladeshi and bringing in all kinds of different people, but then bringing in people that look like you. Cash distribution is alive. Cash distribution is alive. Let me say this to Guyanese people and to the opposition. You owe it upon yourselves to make sure that this government does not sit for the full 5-year term. You owe it upon yourself. Make sure that they don't sit there. And if it is that they sit there, you make sure that you and your people are benefiting from it. Look at the hesitation to give out this cash. Look at the commotion that it is causing for just 55 billion. Yes, I know your leader, Barry Jagdale, would have said 64, but he can't show me where 64 going. He can't show me where $64 billion going. He said 64. But look, it's concerning here, man. You cannot allocate $55 billion to do a cash distribution to your own citizens. But you, with the same breath, can bring in Bangladeshi nurses at $1,500 a clip per month, providing employment for their husbands, schools for their children, free meals, and housing. and Guyanese get to sit like lapidogs in their own country. PPP are mad. If finally you is a madman and this ain't continuing, you ain't no president. You ain't no president. You's a highway robber. You ain't no president. The north of you guys lighting up Main Street. Lighting up Main Street. In a city that can't take off a good 15-minute shower. In a city that cannot take off a good 15-minute shower by Guyanese standards. And you guys have sat there for 23 plus 5 years. You guys would have sat there for 23 plus 5 years and now you're in your sixth. Shameful. And here, I don't care who you look like. I don't care if you're Afro, Indigenous, African. I don't care. East Indian. I don't care what you are. I ask this to the city engineers. Why should we have city engineers? Why should we have city engineers if after all these years we cannot figure out what to do with the flooding in Georgetown? Why? Why? Why should we have city engineers? Why should taxpayers' money pay city engineers? Why? Is this whole thing with city engineers just a whole corrupt, concocted thing? Because y'all ain't making sense. If we had city engineers, the Le Repentier Cemetery would have looked much better than that. We would have seen those canals pauled off, right? We would have seen a pump up at the head of Princess Street there that throws water over the wall. We would have seen pumps at the head of every waterway in Georgetown that throws water over the wall. And as soon as the rain commences in Georgetown, because water can be thrown over the wall, whether the tide is in or whether it is out. Because it is a pump that is working. It is not a matter of lifting a coca gate and letting the water out because the tide is out, but you can't lift the coca gate because the tide is in. This is a pump, for crying out loud. And you're telling me we have city engineers. I have nothing to do with engineering. The contracts go to the unqualified friends, family, and favorites, Carlisle. Correct. But right now, there should be no contracts being given out. We do not have a public accounts committee. We do not have a public procurement committee either. Once we don't have a public accounts committee, we don't have a public procurement committee either. So there should be absolutely no contracts given out right now. None. For a matter of fact, there's not even an opposition leader. My question is there a government in Guyana right now? Time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. Time will tell. The APNU have a protest action set for Monday. Okay? Regarding the cash distribution. I applaud them on that. But at the same time, guys, at the same time, this cash distribution is one small thing. What is the biggest thing? Is the Guyana Elections Commission, that body that controls electoral matters in Guyana. Okay? What's happening there? That's the biggest thing. Like I said before, you can build how much you want to build. You can work the ground how much you want to work the ground. That list continue to exist. With no biometrics in place, the results shall be the same. That list was sent out of Guyana, it was tampered with, and it was returned to Guyana. That list can be used in many, many ways to bring about a PPP victory. Again, I say this, that list was sent outside of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and was returned to the Cooperative Republic Guyana after it would have been doctored. And in so many ways, the PPP can win an election in Guyana. They need to be house-to-house registration starting at 0% and going to 100%. With biometrics to accompany that. You see the people then come out and they start talking about new ID card and this and that and the other. The AP and you have to open their eyes to these things. One party just cannot decide that they are going to bring in a new identification. It is not one party that makes up a government. Next thing you know, ID show up and in the ID it says one Guyana. The opposition got to stop giving the PPP the latitude to do these things. Margie's asking, is that a census? Charles Ramson Sr., Minister of Information, when are you going to provide Guyanese with an update on the census? It should be coming out of your ministry. You see, then you guys want to, Irfan Ali and all, Jack Dio and everybody want to come out and they want to talk about Guyana being such a democratic institution. You guys are liars. I can say that on this program tonight. You guys are a bundle of liars. You tell a lot of untruths to the people of Guyana. You guys are not compliant or transparent. So how can you come and tell the Guyanese people that you guys are operating within the ambit of democracy? There is no way that you guys are operating within the democratic scope. Nowhere. You deny your citizens pertinent information. The information ministry, ladies and gentlemen, supposed to be a ministry that is unbiased in nature. Okay? It is supposed to be unbiased. All right? When you look at all these ministries, when you look at the Guyana Police Force, when you look at the Guyana Elections Commission, when you look at the judiciary in Guyana, these are all extensions of the PPPC. They have stretched their tentacles through all of these agencies that should be independent. I have said it before, I'm going to say it again. The democratic framework does exist. We have a parliament, we have a judiciary, we have an executive. I'm not questioning that. I'm not questioning that. The essential question here is there division of power? Is there checks and balances? Or are all three, the parliament, the executive, and the judiciary, collectively one? Meaning colluded. One. I will go with what I say, what would have came out of my mouth last. They are all one. Okay? Of course, they're going to be judges who is going to get in there and do their jobs. All right? Carla said no transparency. No transparency equals no trust. How can you trust such a government? How could such a government care about its people when you can't allocate $55 billion to give them a little cash transfer for their Christmas? How, Irfan Ali? You want them to get on their knees and beg you, Irfan Ali? All Guyanese are now willing to do what allegedly a lot of females would have done when you were Minister of Housing just to get a house lot, Irfan Ali. We don't look. Like I said, man, you want to select leaders, you got to examine these people and you got to select people with character. That's all I'm saying. You have to select people with character. Okay? That's why many would have come and talk about Azruddin Muhammad and all that. That stuff don't interest me. Because based on what I do, Azruddin Muhammad could never be. I would never consider Azruddin Muhammad for president. I'm talking about me personally. He lacks the character. And like I said, your actions today determines your tomorrow. Okay? Azruddin Muhammad was part and parcel with the PPP. I just want to make that clear. Part and parcel. And you know something? He has never come out to be transparent with the people and said, look, these are the things that would have happened. I apologize. There was never an apology. Okay? You guys had your guns allegedly lodged at Freedom House. Your guns would have killed a lot of Africans in Guyana. Look across Guyana. Most of the violent stuff that happened in the clashes between police and citizens and all this stuff, who ends up losing their lives? Guyanese of African descent. Guyanese of African descent. Right? To the health ministry. You guys would have uncovered a lot of Guyanese who would have contracted about 460 Guyanese or 446. I think 446 who would have contracted the HIV virus of late. Do you mind to break that down by ethnic demographics and push that out to us? Because I know exactly what you guys are going to push out. I know exactly what's going to come out of that also. I'm not getting into that tonight, but I'm just using that as another example, ladies and gentlemen. It's another example to educate our people. It's another example to educate our people. We have came on this program. Yes, we have 15 minutes to go. We have came on this program and we have spoken about the need for a crossing to go into the new scheme in Aslington. Well, since we would have came on this program and talk about that, I understand that they are making provisions. But let me say this to the PPP. Another wooden bridge doesn't make sense. Get the steel reinforcements and do a nice, beautiful concrete bridge over that canal. Something that will be durable, that will last for years. Not forgetting the markets at Pleasance and Golden Grove. Come on, the councils in Golden Grove. You guys need to reach out to people if you guys are not getting the funding. But look at the roof of those stalls at Golden Grove, man. Isn't that shameful? Isn't that like a sore eye to the road front at Golden Grove? Again, $1.382 trillion budget. People are only using the second floors of their home this evening because first floor would have been flooded out in Georgetown. You are not funding the mayors and city councils all across the country. You're not funding them with what is really needed for them to run the municipalities. You have failed to give the Pleasance market a proper facelift for decades. And Jack Dio live right under the nose of the Pleasance market. You're a wicked big man. You're a wicked big man. I understand activities just started off at the Pleasance Community Center ground again. We have been talking about that for some time. Why should one man stop activities at the Pleasance Community Center ground? You've already taken away Pradoville from the Plaisance people and their ancestors. And you also need to look for space in Victoria to give that community a new cemetery. Because I understand that they would have been lacking space, and they're being forced to put people on top of each other. Well, we know that's a normal trend to put people on top of each other. But Victoria, the village of Victoria, the Forest Village purchased by the African ancestors of Guyana, PPP, you got Victoria looking like garbage. Victoria Sideline West, Victoria Sideline East, none of them are done properly. Victoria Sideline East and Victoria Sideline West needs to be done properly from the road front all the way through. You have a lot of elderly people that live down in that area that cannot get out. Taxis do not want to go in and bring them out. My honorable brother, Mr. Kidaki Amsterdam, would have done a live. And the residents would have came out and spoken to him about that. And you still have done nothing. But many of you in Victoria, you would have voted blue. Why? What difference had it made? You put your vote because somebody have money. It's only so much money one can have. Have you guys ever sat down to figure out how that person would have gotten that rich? Was it by making an honest living? Or is it ill-gotten gains? I will let you decide. I will let you decide. I would want to believe that your common sense will give you the opportunity to calibrate it over and over until you come up with the correct answer. Again, guys, everything starts and ends with character, man. Everything starts and ends with character. You have a criminal leader in your country, everybody gonna look at you funny when you tell them, oh, I'm from Guyana. Oh, that country. Yeah, that guy, that the leader of your country was in a whole lot of stuff, man. That guy is a criminal. You can't remove one thing for the same thing. It's like me removing a quarter and putting back a quarter there. We've got to get serious. We've got to get serious. I believe that this protest is a start. And here, I'm going to say this. If the Win Party wants to show that they're authentic, right? You got a couple of hours for join that action. Get your people out there. Let it be a blue and green fight. Let it be blue and green fighting together. Because I'm going to be frank with you guys, I'm not pushing anybody, but I'm saying if you don't show up there, people are going to look at you like you guys are not authentic. Right? There's many people that have already dismissed you guys. I am still trying to give you guys a chance because when I look at you guys, I look at 16 seats. You're definitely not more qualified than the guys in green. But when I look at you, I still see 16 seats. And the guys in green has 12 seats. And the Purple Party, the Forward Guyana movement. Let me take one minute or a few seconds out of my broadcast to say a very happy birthday to the presidential candidate of the Forward Guyana movement, Miss Amanzo Walton this year. attorney at law / politician. She would have celebrated her birth anniversary today, and I want to wish her well, not just from myself, but the viewing audience and all of us here at 107.1 FM Benchop Radio. All the best to you, Honorable Miss Amanzo Walton, this year. While I'm at it also, let me take a moment to wish Sean Anthony Ben a happy birthday, sir. Enjoy your day. Okay, Sean is on these programs from time to time. You know, he will come in. Okay, he's a strong member of the APNU. He was on the most recent APNU list. So, Sean, a happy birthday to you, and I do hope that you enjoy this special day. Continuing with the business of the people. Now, we are already at the 6th day of December. Not all Guyanese have electronic banking. Well, let me pause for a second before I even continue this. I know Miss Rhonda Lane has a birthday. I believe it may actually be on Monday. I'm not sure. But let me allow myself the latitude now to go ahead and wish Miss Rhonda Lane a happy, happy birthday. We all love you. Okay? We all love you. You're a Guyanese patriot in my book. Okay? You have always stood up and stood out for everything that is righteous. And for that, we appreciate you, and we appreciate your continued contributions to this fight. Okay? And with me evoking the name of Miss Rhonda Lane, let me say this, that it is essential that protest action that Miss Rhonda Lane and Brother Kidaki Amsterdam would have started, it is essential that it continues. It is essential for us to have a measure, a level of electoral reform in Guyana before the 2030 general and regional elections. Though I am of strong belief that we will have elections before 2030. Thank you. I was just informed that her birthday is on Monday. Well, I've done it early since I am not going to be on the air on Monday. You know, I will still inbox her to wish her personally, but I just wanted to take the latitude to do it nice and early. She deserves that measure of respect, Miss Rhonda Lane. We must continue that fight that Brother Kidaki and Miss Rhonda Lane would have started, right? If we want that change, right? Yes, Basil, Sagittarius are wonderful people. Oh man. So I had mine last Sunday, right? I'm Sagittarius. I had mine last Sunday. We had Sean Anthony Ben. We had Honorable Amanzo Walton this year. We have Rhonda Lane on Monday. And on Tuesday, we have the Honorable Mr. Basil Bradshaw. So, Basil, I will take the latitude now to wish you a happy birthday, nice and early. Continue to contribute, because you do come on to these broadcasts and you do contribute. You do call me on a personal level to mentor me and make sure that I have all my I's dotted and my T's crossed. Okay? So I'm wishing you a happy birthday, sir. And, you know, you have contributed a lot to Guyana and its people, and we want you to continue with your contributions, whether it was as a broadcaster, as an athlete, you know, or just as a mentor of many walking through the village of Pleasance. Basil, thank you for everything that you have done and continue to do. We all love you and care about you, my brother. All right. All right, guys, we have 3 minutes before wrap up time here. Okay. Again, I think what's important here, Ian Williams. Ian, I didn't see you in the broadcast earlier. What is Ian saying? Wayne, I believe you are right. The whole PPP cabinet might be sanctioned soon by OFAC. I don't see no reason why not. I don't see no reason why. I have said it before. If we really do comprehensive audits and our audits are deep in scope, ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised to see the people who would be in handcuffs heading to jail. Like I said, I would ask every seamstress in Guyana to start sewing and making a lot of orange jumpsuits. All right? We cannot comb through Guyana with a fine teeth comb. If we comb through Guyana from an audit perspective with a fine teeth comb, is every man jack going to jail? And exactly what I said is going to happen. You're going to have leaders rising up in those communities that would have been suppressed and oppressed to take the hem in Guyana. Okay? You will have people rising up from in those communities to take the hem of Guyana. And I believe that there are people in the communities that can manage that country better than anyone else. Anyone else. Okay? Because I'll tell you guys one thing. We fight for positions. And then when we get into the position, there is no execution. We get in. We so tired fighting that all we do, we get into the position, guys, and we sit down. We just sit down. Mundanely, we just sit down. We forget about the people. We are just sitting. That's it. Posture, just sitting down. Not good enough. Not good enough. You raised your right hand. You took an oath, right? An oath of servitude to the people of Guyana. You can't fight to get there, and then when you get there, you just sit down. And then when the next election or a biannual Congress or whatever it is come along, you want to once again drink 2 Red Bull, and you get up and you're ready for fight to stay in your position that you've been sitting down all the time. We got to do better, man. Our standards have got to rise up in Guyana, guys. We are a smart people. Okay? We are a smart people, and our standards are way beneath us. If we are here, our standards should be here. We can't be here, and our standards is way down on the floor. All right? Straight talk, real talk. We got to get better. All right? We have to get better. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 8:01 on the East Coast here. I'm going to start wrapping up tonight's program. Let me see. I have one more. Win needs to join the protest on Monday. Yes, Gavin Caesar, our executive producer, is saying that Win needs to join the protest on Monday. Riri Garway Mingo is saying exactly, Mr. Caesar. That means she agrees with me. Everyone in the PPP parliament need to go to jail. Kunta Kenta Jinga. Boy, like I said, if we ever, and look, guys, don't forget, I have called for every member of the cabinet and high-level member in government, police commissioners, high-level individuals in the police, in the army, and everywhere to be comprehensively audited every 2 years, bringing all their assets to the forefront. How y'all think it look for 53% of Guyanese to be living in poverty and everybody erecting large skyscrapers by Georgetown standards? How y'all think it look? PPP, how you guys think that look? And how stupid. I know Barry Jagdeo said that Guyanese are really stupid, but Barry Jagdeo, how really stupid is Guyanese? How really stupid is Guyanese? Are you willing to test how really stupid they are? Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Guyana, all citizens, all ethnic groups, race, class, gender, all of you, you guys need to listen attentively, and you need to understand that when you elect ministers to go into government, essentially you elect them to go in and to manage your business. Okay? You did not elect them to go into government to start businesses, to erect high skyscrapers. You understand me? To take away land from your fellow Guyanese. You haven't elected them to do that. And I'll say this, all of you, and there's a large percentage of Guyanese that vote for the PPP. I'm telling you, again, I tell you guys, this cycle is not going to be like the last one. We're going to do our homework. We're going to figure out what it is that you're doing and how you are making your money. Okay? And we will block you from making that money. Because if it's the people that your government is suppressing and oppressing, we will boycott you. I'm saying that right now, plain. Barry Jagdeo have not come a few weeks of press conference. He's going to come next Thursday. He don't like that word. He don't like that word. Guyana will never be one Guyana. Guyana will never be one Guyana. I don't know what's the meaning of one Guyana. I know about one people, one nation, one destiny. Guyana will never be one Guyana. Guyana will never be one Indian Guyana. The Indians came to Guyana, okay, and they found an emancipated African, and they found indigenous people there. Okay? They didn't come, they didn't discover Guyana. Okay, let me make that clear. And this is not being racist against anybody. This is facts. Nobody wants to come clearly and speak the facts because you're scared that people call you racist. Like what they do to Dr. David Hines. You call a man racist that has been a stickler for shared governance? You could never call a man racist, Dr. David Hines, who have been a stickler for shared governance. Then you have to be very unlearned to do such a thing. Brothers and sisters, one people, one nation, one destiny. Anything one Guyana could go down your toilet. We don't know anything about that. You see all that one Guyana and all that stuff that's engraved in that passport, that national document? Oh, to the extent Guyana has a new government, I am going to call for that to be removed with immediate effect. That's a grave disrespect to the people of Guyana. The other thing, the North Ruimveldt Multilateral School would have celebrated 50 years, and I call it North Ruimveldt Multilateral School. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? I went there. It was built out there on the Lyndon Forbes Samson Barnum. And there is a specific reason that these schools were named multilateral schools, because they offer many disciplines when it comes to education, whether it's technical, whatever it is. But to wipe Guyana of what Lyndon Forbes Samson Barnum would have done, the PPP walks in there. None of them are not even suited to even wear his slippers. For a matter of fact, they're not even suited to see his slippers. To say that they are naming these schools secondary schools, like if we don't already have many secondary schools in Guyana. Those schools were special purpose schools. Anyhow, congratulations to all the current and former students of the North Ruimveldt multilateral school. I got to call it what I know it as. I cannot call it something. I didn't went there when it was a secondary school. My stay was very short. And to all of you young Guyanese out there, I just want to close off with this because I know my time is past. I'm 7 minutes over time. For all of you young Guyanese, all of you young, common entrance age, beyond common entrance in secondary school, whatever, it's not where you start. It is where you finish. Okay? We all do not mature at the same time. All right? We all mature at different points in life. We are all human beings. None of us are the same. Do not give up on yourself ever. Ever. All right? You feel like giving up on yourself? Find me on Facebook and inbox me and let's talk about that. I am giving you the latitude to do that. All right? We as adults need to be the keepers of the future of Guyana. All right? We need to be the keepers of the future of Guyana. Yes, boss man, the live very good. Very good. The truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. They're trying to wipe away the history of Guyana. They're doing the same thing in Linden also. Right? They're doing the same thing in Linden also. But just to finish off the fact of what I was talking about to the young people, you don't have to go to St. Rose's, QC, Bishops, President College, St. Stanislaus. No. No. And you should have a lot of confidence in yourself because I'll tell you this. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. As individuals, we grow into ourselves. We grow into ourselves. Some people are at this level now and they never move from this level. And when they were at this level, you were here. And they remain here or they might have moved here, but then you go on here. That's why I say, don't give up on yourself. Anything that you want to do, you're capable of doing it. You just need to apply yourself. That's all you need to do. Apply yourself. All right? Brothers and sisters, let's continue to encourage each other. And like the Honorable Mr. Victor Ben would have told me when I said, let's hold hands, he said, no way. We need to take a stronger position. Let's lock hands. So let's continue to lock hands. We're not holding hands. It's more than holding hands. All right? We have to put ourselves in a position of strength. All right? And when I say put ourselves in a position of strength, this is not about African strength, East Indian strength, indigenous strength, Portuguese strength, mixed race strength, okay? Or Chinese strength. This is about Guyana's strength, okay? I've said it before. I'm not PNC. I'm not APNU. I'm not Forward Guyana Movement. I'm not WPA. I'm not PPP. I am Guyana. I am Guyana. What is right is right. What is wrong is innately wrong. And it's going to be called out. Okay? It's going to be called out. Integrity matters. Morals matters. Money matters. Come on, guys. When we think about money, look what our country look like. A corrupt nation with a set of hustlers. A corrupt nation, everybody hustling, trying to rob each other. It's like crabs in a barrel in Guyana. Everybody turn hustlers. Oh, by the way, Barajagio, Irfan Ali, Anil Nandalal, I have gotten 8 calls from public servants this week. 8 calls from public servants. They want to know what's up with their bonus. The public servants, Irfan Ali, Barajagio, Anil Nandalal, all of you in the PPP government. The public servants wants to know about their end of year bonus. Okay? They want to know about it. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about price control. We're going to talk a little bit about price control. And when we talk about price control, we're not talking about pricing our vendors out of making a living. We're talking about us being honest across the board. All right? Because we can't have chicken being one price. And then today, when I reach out to individuals, chicken is $700 a pound just because it's Christmas. I know everybody got to live. But you can't just keep, you just can't individually decide that you're going to raise price. That's not fair. How is that equitable for all? We all got to live. Right? You raise chicken to $700 a pound. Come on, man. Come on, we got to do better. All right? We got to do better. And for you vendors out there, if you really wanted better, you would have voted green. I'm telling you, no, but listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's not because I want to talk or I want to give favor, ladies and gentlemen. The APNU is the best party to run this country. The APNU understands the people of Guyana better than any other party. It doesn't matter who does go and pose off for things like if they're running in a community to solve problems. They don't know nothing about the people of Guyana. Okay? Even Barry Jagdeo ain't know about the people of Guyana. You know why? That man has gotten here and he's forgotten about everything below him. Okay? That's why we got 53% in poverty. They have forgotten the people of Guyana. Well, brothers and sisters, I know that you guys don't want me to get in trouble, right? Y'all see it's 15 minutes after 8 in Guyana, which is 15 minutes after 9. 15 minutes after 8 in America, which is 50 minutes after 9 in Guyana. Our executive producer has shown himself on the screen here. So that means it's time. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, continue to lock arms. I want to thank all of you guys for joining tonight's program. We're not going to play around. We're going to go right through the holiday with this program. All right, we're not going to mix business with pleasure. This is business. Christmas is nice, pleasurable time, but we're not going to mix business with pleasure. We're going to go through the holidays. Until next Saturday, I love you guys. Be careful be careful as you traverse along the highways and byways in Guyana. Look out for your families. Look out for your neighbors. Look out for your friends. Okay? Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Until next Saturday, love you. Over to you. Good night.